Today, we're going to be talking about 7 weird ways the military changes you, and a lot of these are probably ways you wouldn't even expect. For example, one of the ways the military changed me is I am stuck writing in all caps. Now, the reason for that is probably very unexpected, but that is because back in the day in the military, everything used to be on paper logs. So writing in all caps, as they found, was the easiest way to be able to understand everything. None of that even matters anymore. The only thing that matters is I am stuck now looking like an idiot whenever I go fill out official documents because I write my name and everything else in full caps. But the list just starts there. Now, the second thing on the list is maturing much faster. And for this, I have a story. So back when I first joined the military and I got out of boot camp, I got stationed in Tampa, Florida, and I would go to USF on the weekends to go party, back before I was married. And I remember going up there, hanging out with these kids, and they were all like 2 to 3 years older than me. And I remember talking to them, and they would be like, yeah, my dad's like paying for college, or my parents pay for my, car insurance, or, oh, my dad hasn't sent me money for groceries yet. And I remember thinking, these kids are 2, 3 years older than me. Their parents still completely take care of them. I take care of all my own stuff. I pay my own rent, buy my own groceries, pay my car insurance, pay for my gas. These people are pretty much just grown-up high schoolers that don't live at home anymore. And I remember thinking, like, these are the people that society likes to say are just the most advanced because they all went to college. But yeah, I feel like I'm way further ahead of all of these people. And that was one thing I really appreciated, was just how much quicker I was able to mature. Thing number 3 on the list is not caring about what you look like. As we all know, whenever you first join the military, what's the first thing they do? They shave all your hair off. And immediately after that, I think that every guy in the military just gets used to looking ugly. My little brother is currently going through boot camp right now. And every time I see him, I'm like, he looks so ugly. Just to push that note even further, my best friend in the Marine Corps, he gets haircuts every single week. And they always mess his hair up. He goes to the same place and he complains about the same problem. But he's just so used to looking ugly now because whenever he joined the Marine Corps, they shaved all of his hair off. And as all of you know who have been in the Marine Corps, the boot camp is extremely long. So the longer that you have to exist like that, the longer you become okay with just looking ugly. So I think that standard for all of us definitely drops. I still do see a lot of people, Dom, the TikToker out there, he cares about what he looks like. But I definitely think this standard drops after exiting boot camp, especially for guys. And I do think that's a little weird, but a little funny at the same time. Now, the next one on the list is enjoying chaos. Today, I was sitting at a graduation for boot camp, and while I was there, someone passed out. Like, I'm talking, it was just hot outside. They locked their knees, and their body just went right onto the ground, face planted. And everybody in the crowd just immediately started freaking out, all these civilians. And all of a sudden, I see one of the commanders just get up, walk on over there, pick the kid up, took him off. That was it. And I feel like that's what happens a lot of times in like really stressful scenarios is you see people in the military, they just thrive under stress, whereas civilians, they just absolutely fall apart. And I feel like that's actually really cool for whenever you have kids, if you want to become a cop, firefighter, anything like that, you just learn to handle stress so much better. Thing number 5 is probably the reason that most of you clicked on this video. A little embarrassing, to be honest with you, and that is you get used to eating some weird stuff. Everyone develops a weird relationship with one particular item. For me, it was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Now, the reason of why is whenever I went through boot camp, you would go through the line and you would get your food and then you would come out and there would be a salad bar. Only idiots stopped at the salad bar. No one ever stopped at the salad bar. But in the corner, there was a little peanut butter shack. And so I would always go put my plate down, stand up, and I would go in the corner to the peanut butter shack. And I would pull this nozzle down to get the bread out, and I would put it in there, and I would cook up my little peanut butter things, my peanut butter sandwiches. And I'm not exaggerating whenever I say this. I would eat 5 to 6 every single mealtime. I don't know how to get clogged up during boot camp, but it's because peanut butter jelly sandwiches are my friend. And so I developed a insanely weird relationship with these things. I don't eat them anymore because I ate so many of them during boot camp, but I feel like everybody has a weird relationship with something now. My friend I was talking to you guys about in the Marine Corps, for some reason, he is super addicted to bananas. Whenever he was going through the Marine Corps, I don't know why. He said that he would just shove bananas in his pack and stuff like that. So now he actually does still eat a lot of bananas, like 4 to 6 a day. Now, next on the list is one that I know all of you can relate to, and that is getting treated like absolute garbage. I was actually talking to an officer today. They literally told me today that whenever they went to the academy, they were told to essentially not try to interact with the enlisted the least amount as possible. Like, we're just little peasants. And nowhere else in life is that what it's like. You know what I mean? Like, you don't work at a company and the guy who has his MBA talks to the guy who has his bachelor degree like he's an absolute idiot. But in the military, for some reason, that's just how it is. An officer will talk to an E5, E6 like they're the dumbest person on earth. And then an E5 will talk to an E2 like they are the dumbest person on earth. And I think it's really funny just how used you do get to getting treated like absolute garbage and just building up a lot of thick skin, which, once again, that's extremely helpful, though, for the civilian sector, too. Now, reason number 7 is one of those things that you don't start to understand until you actually join the military, and that is learning to appreciate a lot of things that you never really thought of before. I remember growing up, I never really had a lot of appreciation for being able to live in the same place, go to the same high school, and have the same friends. And now, ever since joining the military, I've moved every 2 years for the past 6 years. And I'm about to get out of active duty in 3 months. And I cannot tell you just how absolutely excited I am to be able to finally go live somewhere and know that I don't have to be moved around by the government, and I can actually build community and friends and stuff like that. And that is a large thing that you learn to appreciate, especially having family around and stuff like that. Whereas civilians and stuff like that, I think it's a lot harder for them to wrap their brains around. I don't blame them. It's because they've never experienced what it's like to have to get ripped up out of a place and to move around every so often. But in the military, that's definitely something that you really start to appreciate. And I think that's good overall, is learning to appreciate things. I think that's obviously, what we're all just trying to do as humans, is appreciate the small things to live a happier life.